Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream, and welcome back to another day in Destiny 2 for some more Destiny 2 news and Into the Light / Final Shape intel. And today, once again, is Friday, so we have our Friday weekly update. XUR has returned, as well as Trials of Osiris. So I'll give you a brief rundown on all the information regarding those two things, as well as all the other farms, glitches, cheeses that you can use heading into the weekend if you haven't had a chance to play very much this week. And there is a ton of stuff to cover, as well as some upcoming information that I wanted to touch on, as there is some very interesting things starting next week. But to start off, today XUR can be found in the Tower Hangar, which is convenient because it's a short jump over to St. 14. If you're having trouble finding him at this location, remember this particular location can glitch out on occasion, so you might either need to reboot your game or just reload in your character. And today, XUR is selling. We have the Lord of Wolves, everyone's, or at least it used to be everyone's favorite troll weapon, along with Telesto in the Crucible. Not really sure how this plays in PvP at the moment. I'm sure it's still fairly good. If you don't have it, pick it up. It's a very unique weapon, powerful short-range solar burst. Essentially, it's a shotgun that works like a fusion rifle. Maybe sort of a reverse fusion rifle in some ways, but a lot of people swear by it. It's always been a great equalizer in PvP if you're someone who doesn't play that often. Not one of my personal favorites, but certainly good to have in your arsenal. We have the Knucklehead Radar with a 64 roll for the Hunter class. Provides radar while you're aiming and marks targets, increasing damage to low health and marked targets. Haven't used the Knucklehead Radar in a long time. This was actually my very first exotic I ever got in D1 for my Hunter when I played Hunter. Imagine that, a time when I played Hunter over a Warlock. But in any case, 64 is not the highest I've seen on this, especially recently. I think there was another one that was a lot higher as far as a total stat roll, but not a terrible distribution with mobility and strength. We have the Eternal Warrior for the Titan class with a 65 roll. Not a terrible roll, I have to say, with a decent distribution, kind of makes up for it. Maybe would have liked to have seen a little bit more in strength, but casting Fist of Havoc grants an overshield. Arc Final Blows grant a weapon damage bonus. Again, not one that I've seen used that much terribly as of late, but still worth to have if you don't have it, but probably maybe a pass on both of these if you're looking to save up on legendary shards, though I'm sure nobody is. And then we have the Orphidian aspect, my personal recommendation as a pickup this week. Never a bad exotic, always comes in handy in PvP, really a PvP focused exotic for the Warlock, so I find myself using it all the time. Improves weapon ready speed, reload, and melee range. Used to have a slightly bigger increase to the melee range. I believe it's only about 5 meters now. It used to be 6, up from 3. I think it's now like 5, up from 3.5, because I believe melee range was also improved across the board. This was an update for quite a while ago, so I'm not totally sure, but not quite as good as it used to be. This is a, I would say, mediocre stat distribution for this particular exotic. If the mobility had been in intellect or recovery or resilience, I would have definitely recommended picking it up for sure. But if you don't have the Orphidian aspect, a 65 roll is still something you can build into very easily. And mobility isn't terrible if you're focusing on PvP specifically for any class, as it sort of lowers your hitbox, I've found a little bit. Anyway, worth checking out if you don't have them. But all of these are fairly old exotics, so I'm sure most people have picked these up at least once before. For legendary weapons, we have a True Prophecy with Grave Robber and Rampage. We have a Chroma Rush, which is sort of an unobtainable weapon, I have to say. The only way you can actually get this weapon is through Dares of Eternity, so it's very rare that you can actually just go buy one. and it's not craftable. So Feeding Frenzy, Adrenaline Junkie, this is a very good PvP auto rifle. I would suggest maybe just picking one up. It's not that much. Giving it a try. I think the 720s and this particular one, which I believe they come with a decent sight. It says a Hammer Forge rifling with a reload speed masterwork. I mean, I've seen better ones than this, but I do like Feeding Frenzy, and I've just found that the sight and the auto aim on this weapon, the aim assist, which is at 80, is very, very good. So another one of those sort of equalizer weapons, very easy to use. If you're a novice player for PvP, I think it's worth taking a look at. We have this auto rifle, whose name I'm not going to try to pronounce, but if you can tell me how to pronounce it in the comments section down below, we'll give you another entry into the next giveaway for this video. Remember, we do one every 1,000 subscribers. But this one with Assembly and Demolitionist. Assemble and Demolitionist. We have a Judgment of Kalgaroth. Yes, I can say that name. With a movable object surrounded ambush. This is a deep sight activation weapon as well. Just curious which haft it actually comes with. We have the Tempered Trust Rod haft. This is an absolute god roll on this weapon. These used to be for sale like every week from Banshee 44 last year. If you didn't have a chance to pick up a god roll one then, this is it. This is about as good as it comes. The Tempered Trust Rod haft is the one that gives you a faster melee time. Can't go wrong with insurmountable or immovable object, surrounded, and ambush. Gotta love it. We have a shield duration masterwork. Might have liked something slightly different, but overall, if you're looking for an excellent solar glaive, this is one to pick up. We have the Aquilos sniper rifle with moving target, high impact reserves, and Rasputin's arsenal, another deep sight activation weapon. We have the 7th Seraph saw, which I always like, though I'm sure most people are focusing on getting their Hammerhead at the moment, as that weapon is godly and can come with some amazing perks. Certainly the meta heavy machine gun at the moment, but 7th Seraph saw is not a bad one. This one comes with Grave Robber and firing line. And then we have the Interference 6 grenade launcher with field prep and swashbuckler. Grenade launchers do seem to be doing a little bit better at the moment, though. For legendary armor, we have the Lost Pacific armor set. Nothing too stand out for the Warlocks as far as rolls or stat distribution. Maybe the boots are somewhat decent, but overall fairly low. However, if you are on the Titan class, you have some amazing stuff. You have a 66 roll, I believe, on the helmet, and then 267 rolls, I believe, on the chest piece and the boots. I'm not totally sure if I have the exact armor pieces correct, but you have a very good roll, 67 stat distribution on one of them. Another one that's at 67, which is slightly less good as far as the stat distribution, and then a 66, which is also very good. So if you're on a if you're on a Titan, you're looking for some decent legendary armor, head over to XUR today. And then we have our Hawkmoon with combat grip and rangefinder. I take it for PvP. I haven't used the Hawkmoon in a long time. Let me know in the comments. Is anybody using Hawkmoon? Is anyone enjoying it? I mean, I used to love this weapon in D1. It was so good, but I haven't found myself using it in like probably a year and a half. Really, many hand cannons have kind of gone by the wayside, in my opinion, as far as what I use in PvP. But I used to be sniper hand cannon all the time, and I just feel like I can never get back to that place. I used to love it. Let me know, how do I get back to being able to successfully play with a sniper rifle and a hand cannon in just normal Crucible and have fun with it and not feel like I'm white-knuckling it the entire time. But that is going to be it for XUR today. We're going to head over to Same 14. This week's map is the Cauldron. So good luck with the door meta, as I like to call it, on that map. Everybody just stays around the doors, and it's really, I think the winner of those matches really comes down to how well you can play the map. One of the more map-focused ones we get, in my opinion. It's usually comes down to the weapons and how broad or whether or not the map is large or small, but for some reason the Cauldron really comes down to how well you actually just utilize the map itself. For the adept weapon today, we have the grenade launcher, and yeah, that's it. I'm sure this is very low on the totem pole for most people as far as the thing that they're desiring the most out of Trials of Osiris, but I've actually heard that it can roll with some very good things for PvE, so still might be worth taking a look at. If you're a Strand player, I mean, you know, grenade launchers are decent at the moment. They got a buff, so, you know, I don't think this is a bad one, though I'm sure for most people, if you're not a consistent Trials player, if you're not someone who plays every weekend, this is certainly not worth the headache. One of the other many weapons to choose from, I'm sure there's some other things that I think people would be chasing after. I always recommend going for the Incisor Trace Rifle if you're a Strand player. You can get one at rank 10 that's very, very good. And Strand Trace Rifles are just great. Strand is great for PvE, and a Trace Rifle, can't go wrong with them. So that's going to be it for Saint 14. We're now going to head over to Banshee 44. Did I say Saint 44 again? Last week I said Saint 44 versus Saint 14 and Banshee 44, and people let me know about it. But I actually thought it was kind of fun. I love it when I hear about my mistakes in the comments, especially ones that I don't recognize that I did or realize that I did. So let's go take a look and see what Banshee 44 is selling today. And then we'll take a little spin around the solar system directory and talk about all the stuff that you can do heading into the weekend. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of new things. Made a lot of videos this week about Onslaught and all the different ways that it's been changed and glitched and patched and then glitched again. So if you're interested in any of those things, trying to get to 50 waves, check out my last like 2 videos. If you're looking for anything as far as the Whisper of the Worm is concerned, looking for the oracles or how to do it solo or how to do it on heroic or legendary, whatever the harder version is. I think it's legendary now. You can check out any one of my last like 6 videos because we've been covering that quite a bit. Nothing really stand out for Banshee 44, unfortunately. We don't have anything I would really recommend picking up. Dire Promise isn't bad for PvP. Cold Denial might not be bad for PvP either, and the Bump of the Night might not be bad for PvE, but all kind of secondaries. I'm sure most people are getting better stuff from Onslaught at the moment. Speaking of Onslaught, hopefully you've picked up your Hammerhead and Mountaintop and Midnight Coup. I know that I said it once in the last video incorrectly. Guys, just for the lulz, okay? Just for the lulz. But now let's take a look around the solar system. Just check out all the stuff. As I've already mentioned, we have Onslaught, awarding the Hammerhead, and I believe the Forbearance grenade launcher, which is also really good. Remember, the Forbearance was only available from the raid. This one, the Vow of the Disciple. And if you didn't own this DLC, like I don't on my PC, this was the only way, or is the only way now you can actually get your hands on what is an excellent grenade launcher. One of the top 2-3 grenade launchers in the game, in my opinion. Waveframes really only being, well, Waveframes being the best grenade launchers, but really the only ones I think worth using unless you have some blinding stuff. Mountaintop is different because it doesn't act like a grenade launcher, but head in there. Hammerhead, I think, is the thing people are farming for the most. Over on our legend page, we have Operation Seraph Shield this week. For the exotic mission. Why is this showing me the moon? Of course, because Duality is the featured dungeon this week. Not one of my favorites, but always a good way to farm Artifice Armor if you're looking for a fairly reasonable way to do it. I actually prefer heading over to the Crucible and playing competitive now, because remember, competitive gives you Artifice Armor. It's the only thing that's brought me back to competitive in quite a while. Like I said, we have Cauldron for Trials of Osiris. And the featured raid this week is the Last Wish if you're looking to farm out the 1,000 Voices. If I'm remembering correctly, it's been a while since I've done Last Wish, and I got 1,000 Voices, but it's actually very good again at the moment. So always go for that second chest, left side. If you can complete this raid, remember, there is a little cheese, unconfirmed, but go to the left side of the treasure room, go to the second chest on the very edge, sacrifice yourself on it a couple of times, shoot a couple of rockets at the chest, reset, and then come and loot the chest. And if you don't get Eyes of Tomorrow, or excuse me, if you don't get 1,000 Voices, well, let me know in the comments. But I have a feeling there's going to be at least 50% of you that get 1,000 Voices. It seems to be a little bit above average as far as people who get it from that particular chest after doing what I've just said. And for today's Legendary Lost Sector, we are over on Neptune at the Gilded Precept. It's awarding exotic leg armor. Not my favorite farm as far as Legendary Lost Sectors go, but if you've been storing up those exotic engrams from Legendary Lost Sectors in your Postmaster, you can, of course, do the exotic engram glitch, take them out of your Postmaster today, and regardless of what day you collected that exotic engram from a Legendary Lost Sector, it will be decrypted into exotic leg armor. Of course, you need to have a full inventory of engrams on your person in order to get the exotic engrams from a Legendary Lost Sector sent to your Postmaster versus decrypting upon looting the chest. But once they're in your Postmaster, they're waiting to be decrypted, and you can just pull them out on a different day and get the exotic that you want. Always worth reiterating. And that is going to be it for all the information in today's video. Oh, one more thing, of course. Today's the last week. And if you want to know a great way to farm this particular weapon out, we have the loaded question from the Nightfall and GM Nightfall. Remember, if you can get this done at GM difficulty, you will earn yourself the Adept version of the loaded question. You can, of course, also just get the, I believe they're ciphers or whatever they are, to buy one from Lord Saladin. But loaded question will be leaving us. This is the last week that it'll actually be available in the Nightfall rotation. So if you don't have a God Roll loaded question, Lake of Shadows is the easiest Nightfall to farm. Like I said, if you're a solo player or somebody who's just trying to find the best farming methods for Lake of Shadows and a very easy glitch for the boss, cheeses all the way through, then let me know in the comments. I'll make another video about it. And that will actually conclude today's video. Hopefully you found something in this video helpful. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as I said before, and turn on the bell to post notifications so you never miss out on any future Into the Light or Final Shape content like this. You can also follow me on Instagram or Twitter. They'll be linked in the description box down below. Remember, any of those things also enter you into any future giveaways on this YouTube channel. And we do one every 1,000 subscribers, so you never want to miss out. And when and if we reach 100,000 subscribers, we'll be giving away an Xbox Series X or a video card of equivalent value. And if you've watched to this point in the video, you can leave a hashtag XUR or a hashtag Into the Light or a hashtag Final Shape in the comments section down below for another entry into the next giveaway for this video. And once more, I am Wilhelm Scream. Hopefully everyone has a great weekend. And of course, we will see you next time.